Focus isn't something you're born with. It's not something you build. And like any muscle, if you don't train it, it gets weak. If you let your attention go wherever it wants, it will. It'll drift to distractions, to comfort, to anything that feels easy and convenient. But if you discipline it, strengthen it, sharpen it, then you begin to master the art of getting things done. You begin to harness a power most people ignore. That's what separates the successful from the scattered. They've trained their mind to obey, not wander. Most people think they have a focus problem, but what they really have is a training problem. You don't wait to focus until life throws something important at you. You train focus every day, so you're ready when it counts. You make it part of your routine. Just like you wouldn't expect to lift 200 pounds in the gym without practice, you can't expect to concentrate on a goal, a project, or a vision without building the habit of focused thinking. Now, how do you train it? You start small. Start by setting a timer for 15 minutes and doing one thing. Just one. No phone, no multitasking, no jumping around. One task. One focus. And when your mind wanders, and it will, you gently pull it back. That's the rep. That's the work. That pulling back is where the growth is. Just like the muscle doesn't grow when the weight is easy, the mind doesn't grow when focus is easy. It grows when you push it back into place. And the secret? It gets easier. As you practice, your brain adapts. You stop needing to be in the perfect mood, the perfect setting, or have perfect motivation. You show up and you train, and over time that 15 minutes becomes 30, then 45, then an hour of focused work that moves your life forward in a powerful way. The wealthy, the productive, the builders of empires, they don't have more time. They just know how to use it better. They've trained their focus to do more with less. While others are overwhelmed by tasks and bouncing between distractions, the focused individual is making consistent progress, brick by brick. That consistency turns into mastery. That mastery turns into income, impact, and influence. Focus is also about clarity. When you train your mind to focus, you start to see what matters most. You don't just work harder, you work smarter. You stop confusing being busy with being productive. You don't need more time, you need more intention with the time you already have. That comes through training your mind to prioritize and lock in. Distraction is the enemy of achievement, and in today's world, distraction is everywhere. But so is opportunity, and the person who trains their focus daily will spot that opportunity, seize it, and run with it while everyone else is still scrolling or second-guessing. That's the competitive edge. That's how empires are built, not in big bursts, but in small moments of focus stacked over time. Another thing to remember, your focus reveals your values. What you consistently pay attention to shapes your results, your reputation, and your reality. You can't say your health matters if you don't focus on it. You can't say you want success if your focus is scattered all day. Your results are a mirror of what you've been paying attention to. Change what you focus on and you change your life. The beautiful part is, focus is completely in your control. You don't need permission, money, or even talent to start developing it. You just need a decision to start where you are with what you have, and to commit to training that mental muscle day by day, little by little, minute by minute. That's how you go from average to exceptional, from busy to effective, from scattered to powerful. Distractions are the enemy of focus, and in today's world, they're everywhere. We carry them in our pockets, hang them on our walls, and allow them to invade our thoughts. But here's the truth. If you don't learn to eliminate the noise, you'll never fully hear your own direction. The greatest performers, producers, and entrepreneurs don't get more hours in a day. They simply protect their attention like it's gold, because it is. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your results grow. Distractions don't always look like chaos. Sometimes they're disguised as things that feel productive. Checking one more email, responding to a message, switching between tabs, multitasking to feel busy. All of these are hidden distractions. They steal your mental clarity, fragment your attention, and drain your creative energy. The human brain wasn't designed to jump from task to task every 20 seconds. That kind of scattered thinking weakens your ability to focus, just like junk food weakens your body. And the worst part? Most people don't even notice it happening. You have to make the decision to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your goals, your growth, your potential, all of it depends on what you give your attention to. Eliminate the unnecessary. Say no more often. Turn off the notifications that don't serve you. Silence the noise that doesn't feed your future. Because every time you let the wrong thing in, you push the right thing out. The wealthy understand this at a high level. They don't let emails run their day. They don't keep their phones next to them while working on their most important tasks. They create pockets of deep work where the only thing that exists is the task in front of them. That's where their best thinking happens. That's where their breakthroughs come from. Not in a distracted mind, but in a focused one. It's not about working harder. It's about protecting the space where real progress is made. One of the smartest things you can do is create a distraction-free environment. Before you even begin working, shut down the apps, close the tabs, let people know you're unavailable during a certain block of time. That one move alone can multiply your productivity. If you want to do your best thinking, you need room to think, space to breathe, silence to hear your own ideas. Distraction is loud, but clarity whispers. You won't hear it until you turn down the noise. And don't just eliminate external distractions. Look for the internal ones too. Worry, overthinking, perfectionism. These are distractions in disguise. They keep you busy but not productive. You've got to clear mental clutter just like you clear your desk. Journal it out, talk it out, meditate, whatever it takes to get your mind clean and clear, because a distracted mind can't build an undistracted life. Training your focus starts with knowing what to say no to. Every yes to distraction is a no to your dreams. That's the exchange. You give your attention to something, anything, and you pay with your potential. That price is too high. Choose to guard your attention like your most valuable resource, because that's exactly what it is. Time you can't get back. Energy you can't replace. Focus you can train, but not if it's always being hijacked. But if you're afraid of saying the wrong thing, you can't replace technology. If you're afraid of your competition, you can't replace technology. We eliminate everything, just the right things. The ones that pull you away from purpose, from intention, from your mission. You don't need more motivation, you need fewer distractions. The more focused your environment, the easier it is to stay in flow. The easier it is to think clearly, act boldly, and finish what you start. That's the path to results. Not scattered attempts, but focused execution. Not responding to everything, but choosing what's worth responding to. If you want power in your thinking, you have to silence what weakens it. You have to be ruthless about what gets your attention. You have to turn down the noise so you can turn up the clarity. The mind that learns to eliminate distraction is the mind that starts moving faster, smarter, and stronger than everyone else still caught in the whirlwind. And that's the mind that wins. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools for sharpening your focus is learning to think on paper. Too many people try to manage their life from inside their own head, and let me tell you, the mind is a wonderful place for creating ideas, but it's a terrible place for storing them. If your thoughts stay locked inside, they become tangled, scattered, and overwhelming. But the moment you write them down, you begin to bring order to the chaos. You give your mind permission to breathe. That's the power of paper. It doesn't forget, it doesn't judge, and it doesn't get overwhelmed. Writing clears the mental fog. It takes what's abstract and makes it tangible. It's not enough to have goals in your mind. You've got to see them in front of you. When you write something down, you clarify it. You give shape to your intentions. A goal that's vague in your mind becomes specific on paper. A decision that's been circling around in your thoughts can suddenly become obvious once it's laid out in ink. Writing forces you to slow down, to think deeply, and to make choices about what really matters. And here's the key. Writing isn't just about recording information, it's about directing your thinking. Every time you take a few minutes to write your priorities, plan your day, or list your ideas, You're engaging your brain in focused work. You're telling your mind, this is what matters today. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. That clarity helps block out distractions. It makes it easier to say no to the unimportant because you've already defined what is important. Entrepreneurs and high performers swear by this habit. They journal, they plan, they reflect. They use paper as a tool to capture insights, track progress, and design their days with purpose. This isn't accidental, it's strategic. Writing becomes a mirror for their thinking, a map for their goals, and a record of their growth. If you want to elevate your thinking, start writing every day. It's not about being a great writer, it's about becoming a great thinker. Even a simple daily habit like writing your top 3 tasks in the morning can create massive results over time. It brings focus to your actions. It narrows your attention. Instead of reacting to everything that shows up, you begin your day with intention. You're in charge of your time, not the other way around. And when your brain sees your goals clearly, it starts working on them, even when you're not aware of it. This practice also builds accountability. When your goals and plans are written down, they feel more real. You can't hide from them as easily. You can't pretend you forgot. You either acted on them or you didn't. It's thus honest, and that honesty fuels growth. You can measure your progress, see what's working, and adjust what's not. You gain control not through willpower alone, but through awareness. Thinking on paper also helps you slow down enough to notice patterns. Sometimes just by journaling your thoughts, you'll see the same problems coming up again and again. That's insight. That's an opportunity to shift. It's easy to stay busy and never notice that you're solving the wrong problem. But writing brings those patterns to light. It helps you connect the dots and make smarter decisions. Let's not forget, your goals are big, your dreams are worthy, but if they stay locked inside your head, they compete with all the clutter, noise, and distractions life throws at you. Writing gives them space to grow. It separates the signal from the noise. It lets you return, review, refine. You begin to think with precision, not just passion. That's the difference between those who stay stuck and those who move forward. The ones who write are the ones who win because they make their thinking visible. And once it's visible, it becomes actionable. So train yourself to write things down every day. Use it to build focus, to create clarity, and to take control of your direction. When you think on paper, you don't just react, you lead. You don't just wish, you plan. And you don't just drift, you decide. That kind of thinking creates the kind of life worth living. Discipline is the foundation of focus. Without it, even the sharpest mind will wander, and the most well-crafted plans will remain untouched. Discipline is what brings you back when your thoughts try to drift. It's the internal voice that says, stay with it, when every part of you wants to scroll, quit, or walk away. Training your focus daily isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. And that consistency is fueled by discipline, not by motivation. Motivation is great, but it's unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline, on the other hand, is your anchor. It's the force that keeps you grounded when your attention tries to scatter. Every time you redirect your wandering mind back to the task at hand, you're building mental muscle. That redirection is a rep, just like a bicep curl in the gym. And the more reps you do, the stronger your focus becomes. Most people think they're losing when their mind wanders, but that's not the loss. The loss is in not pulling it back. That's where the training happens, not in flawless concentration, but in the repetition of returning your attention to what matters. Focus doesn't grow from occasional discipline. It grows from the daily intentional decision to practice. And this practice starts with awareness. The moment you notice your attention slipping, you've already begun the process of strengthening it. That awareness is powerful. It gives you a choice. You can follow the distraction, or you can redirect yourself. Each time you choose to come back, you're telling your brain, this is what matters. And over time, your brain listens. It adapts. It learns to stay with you longer. You don't need hours of perfect concentration to become more focused. You just need short, focused blocks of time done consistently. You can start with 5 minutes. Pick one task. No phone, no tabs, just presence. And when the urge to check, scroll, or wander shows up, you notice it and you bring yourself back. That's the training. 5 minutes turns to 10, 10 to 20, and now you're building stamina. Just like running a mile turns into running 5, mental focus expands with repetition and effort. Discipline also requires structure. You can't expect your focus to thrive in a chaotic environment. You need to support it with systems. That could mean scheduling time blocks for deep work, setting alarms, or creating a physical workspace free from distractions. Make it easy to do the right thing. That's smart discipline. It's not about willpower all the time. It's about designing your day in a way that helps you succeed. The more you automate discipline through structure, the more energy you free up for creativity, decision-making, and execution. Another powerful aspect of discipline is removing temptations before they challenge your focus. Turn off notifications. Keep your phone in another room. Use tools that block distracting websites. Why fight a battle when you can remove the enemy before it shows up? That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Great focus comes from protecting your attention like it's sacred, because in many ways, it is. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. Every time you say, "I'll stay with this," and you do, you send a signal to your mind, "I can count on me." That internal trust becomes a source of quiet confidence. You don't need others to push you because you've built the inner strength to push yourself. That's real power. When you can rely on your own discipline, you become unstoppable, not because everything's easy, but because you've learned how to show up, regardless of how you feel. You also start to respect time differently. When you've trained yourself to focus, you stop wasting hours in distraction and indecision. You begin to see time as your greatest asset, and discipline becomes the way you protect that asset. Each focused hour becomes more valuable. You start producing more in less time, not by rushing, but by being intentional. Discipline is also about saying yes to the long term. Every time you resist a distraction, you're saying yes to your goals. Every time you redirect your focus, you're choosing growth over comfort. That daily choice builds momentum. And with enough momentum, you begin to feel it. Progress, results, forward motion, not from grand gestures, but from small, consistent acts of discipline repeated day after day. That's how focus is built. Not in the noise, but in the quiet, disciplined moments where you choose to return again and again, until focus becomes who you are, not just what you do. The environment you create around yourself is not neutral. It's either working for you or against you. Focus doesn't happen by accident. It's not just a mindset, it's also the product of your surroundings. If you want to train your attention and sharpen your focus, you have to build an environment that makes it easier to succeed. You wouldn't plant a seed in a sidewalk and expect it to grow. Likewise, you can't expect deep, focused work to happen in a chaotic, distracting space. The mind responds to what it sees, hears, and feels. If you want clarity, you have to create clarity. Start with your physical environment. Take a look at your workspace. Is it clean, calm, and designed to keep you on task? Or is it cluttered, noisy, and full of hidden traps for your attention? Every item in your line of sight sends a message to your brain. If your desk is full of unrelated notes, open tabs, and reminders of other responsibilities, your brain stays in a constant loop of multitasking. But when you clear that space, remove what doesn't belong, you make room for focus, you give your mind permission to settle into the present. The great achievers know this. They keep their tools nearby, their distractions far away, and their purpose front and center. Some hang their goals on the wall. Some keep a single notebook open for the task at hand. Some use timers to create urgency. Some use music to block out the noise of the world. The point is, they don't leave their focus up to chance. They prepare the battlefield before the work begins. Well, now think about your digital environment. That little device in your pocket can be your greatest tool or your biggest distraction. You have to decide. One notification can derail 20 minutes of work. One scroll can send your mind down a rabbit hole it doesn't come back from for an hour. If your goal is to train your focus, you got to get serious about your digital space. Log out. Silence the noise. Use apps that block time-wasting sites. Make your phone a tool for growth, not a toy for distraction. But the environment isn't just what you see, it's also who you're around. People shape your mindset more than you realize. Spend time with people who are scattered, disorganized, and distracted, and you'll pick up the same habits. But if you spend time around people who are focused, intentional, and disciplined, their energy rubs off on you, conversations change, standards rise, you begin to adopt the rhythms of those around you. Your environment includes your community, and that community either supports your focus or drains it. Creating a focus-friendly environment also means protecting your time. Let people know when you're working, set boundaries, don't be afraid to close the door, block the calendar, or say, "I'll get back to you." You teach people how to treat your time by how you protect it. If you allow constant interruptions, you're signaling that your focus isn't valuable. But if you guard it, people begin to respect it. And more importantly, you begin to respect it yourself. Another piece of your environment is your habits. What do you do first thing in the morning? Are you feeding your mind with noise or with clarity? Starting your day with focused energy sets the tone for everything that follows. Your morning is part of your environment. So is your routine. So is your workspace. So is the music you listen to, the lighting you use, and the energy you carry. It all adds up. The more intentional you are about designing your environment, the less willpower you'll need to stay focused. Because now your surroundings are pulling you in the right direction instead of pushing against you. The best part about your environment is that you get to design it. You're the architect. You decide what stays, what goes, what supports your goals, and what distracts you from them. Don't underestimate the power of a 10-minute cleanup, a simple system, a quiet space, or a strong boundary. These small changes create major results when applied consistently. So if you want to train your focus and reach your goals faster, don't start with willpower, start with your space. Build an environment that invites concentration and eliminates friction. Make it easy to do the right thing. Make it harder to drift. Let your surroundings reflect your standards, your vision, and your commitment to living with purpose. When your environment aligns with your goals, focus becomes not only possible, it becomes automatic. Power thinking isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters with intensity and clarity. And when your thinking is focused, your time multiplies. It's not magic, it's leverage. Most people waste hours every day in mental clutter, indecision, and half-finished tasks. They confuse movement with progress, busyness with effectiveness. But those who master the art of focused thinking begin to operate in a completely different zone. They get more done in 1 hour than most do in 3, not because they rush, but because they think with precision and act with purpose. When you train your mind to focus, you start to notice something interesting. Tasks that once took all day now take 45 minutes. Conversations that used to drift in circles now get to the point. Planning becomes clearer, execution becomes faster. Why? Because you're no longer dividing your energy between 5 different things at once. You're giving one thing your full attention, and that focused attention cuts through resistance like a knife through butter. It's not about harder work. It's about smarter work, driven by a mind that's been trained to ignore distractions and lock in on what moves the needle. Power thinking also sharpens decision-making. When your mind is clear and uncluttered, you make faster and better decisions. You're not hesitating, second-guessing, or over-analyzing everything. You've trained your brain to evaluate, decide, and move. And that speed of execution becomes a competitive advantage. While others are still weighing every option, you're already on step 3. That momentum builds, and with it comes confidence. Not the kind of shallow confidence that's built on hype, but the real kind, the confidence that comes from knowing you're focused and in control. The average thinker gets caught in loops, worry loops, doubt loops, planning loops that never end. But the focused thinker says, what's the priority, what's the outcome, what's the next action, and then moves. That kind of clarity is rare and it's powerful. It frees up time, energy, and space for innovation. You're not just reacting to life, you're designing it, one decision at a time. And each focused choice builds on the next, creating a rhythm of productivity that compounds. Focused thinking also builds mental stamina, just like a runner builds endurance. The person who consistently practices deep focus builds the ability to stay in the zone longer. And when you stay in that zone, what some people call flow, you lose track of time, but you gain control of your results. You start to enjoy your work more because it's not scattered and stressful, it's intentional and satisfying. The quality of your output goes up, and so does your creativity. Because when your mind isn't being pulled in 10 directions, it has room to think, solve, and create at a higher level. There's also a financial benefit to power thinking. The most successful entrepreneurs and high performers aren't working 100 hours a week. They've simply learned how to make their hours count. Focus makes them efficient. Power thinking helps them identify what's worth doing and what's just noise. They don't chase every opportunity, they evaluate it quickly and move on or dive deep. And because they're not wasting time, they get to success faster. Focus becomes the multiplier of their money, their time, and their impact. Even relationships benefit from power thinking. When you're fully present in a conversation, when your mind isn't drifting to emails or to-do lists, people feel that. They trust you more. They respect your attention. Focus is one of the greatest gifts you can give someone, and it's increasingly rare in a distracted world. Power thinking helps you show up fully, not just at work, but in life. You become someone who's grounded, deliberate, and attentive. That's the kind of person others want to follow, work with, and support. But all of this comes from training. It doesn't happen by accident. You don't wake up with the ability to focus at a high level, you build it, moment by moment, day by day. And the payoff is extraordinary. Not only do you accomplish more, but you experience more. You're no longer rushing through your life in a blur. You're present, engaged, and effective. Your mind becomes a tool, not a trap. Your thoughts become a force, not a fog. When you commit to power thinking, you're not just improving your focus, you're changing the way you experience time. You stop being at the mercy of the clock and start directing your hours like a master. You stop playing catch-up and start getting ahead. That's the multiplier effect. That's what turns minutes into momentum and hours into results. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters and doing it with all you've got. When you train your focus daily, eliminate distractions, think on paper, practice discipline, shape your environment, and harness the power of clear thinking, you begin to operate at a different level. You stop reacting and start creating. You don't just manage time, you multiply it. And as that focus sharpens, so do your results, your confidence, and your direction. That's how the few rise above the noise, by mastering the mind one focused moment at a time,